Okay, well, downgraded OBS and turned off power tools. Power toys? We'll see if this does anything. I don't know why people are spamming about XQC in chat. If XQC wants to talk, he could message me. I don't know what you want me to say. Who are you doing a space with? Some I don't even know who it is. Some guy who people say is Elon because he kind of sounds like him, but I don't think he is. But I feel like I'm just waiting for an hour to see my stream crashes. Any ETA and the Knowles talk? It's whenever they post it. Although I don't know if maybe they won't post it now. Since one of the Jeremy, I think Boring is the name of the guy. I think isn't he one of the owners of the Daily Wire? He was also crying and pissing himself on Twitter yesterday over my tweets. So Ethan is talking to the Brad guy. Oh, what was this?
Biggest, most consequential attack on our democracy in American history, at least in our lifetime.
Which prominent Democrat are you citing? Which prominent? Because you can find someone saying crazy things online in response to everything. So I hate that.
Oh, we can talk about Destiny. We can talk about Destiny. We can talk about Destiny.
But yeah, a streamer being deranged is not the same as the presumptive nominee of a party. CJ, let's be honest. Come on.
Well, I think a lot more people probably follow him than a lot of members of Congress are citing here, right? And so, what Destiny is
CJ, let me ask you, CJ, why are you so implacably reluctant to accept that anyone on your side has done anything wrong as part of this debate? I find that it's a very odd exhibition of defiance when you've had your own leader, Donald Trump, show a very courageous act of defiance just after being shot. I think it was a remarkable thing that he did to spring to his feet like that, risking his life potentially. Again, he didn't know how many people were there. But your act of defiance is simply to ignore the bleeding obvious. I mean, everybody knows that people on the right and the left have done and said disgusting things, that they've all been part of the rising tide of inflammatory incendiary rhetoric. And I just don't understand why you wouldn't just accept that and say, yeah, listen, there are people on my side who are part of the problem too, and we should all dial down. You're very...
I don't know why he's...
Because it can always feel like for me especially...
I'm a prominent Democrat now. Amen, brother.
It was feeling like everyone was coming at me, and you know, I was like sure that I was doing the right thing, and it was just like, because I was so certain that the people who actually knocked me off that pedestal, I'm learning that the actual amount of pain that comes from being wrong for me is so great, and it needs to be addressed, and it's not something I could just like shrug off and say, no, like I need a break. I need a break from the internet.
Okay, I don't care about this. Who is this guy? I think this is the musician guy that was like, I'm so sorry I took pictures with Ethan and Hila.
I know you've been asked about this before, about past comments that you've made about Donald Trump. You've said, I'm a never Trump guy, never liked him, terrible candidate, idiot if you voted for him, might be America's Hitler, might be a cynical a-hole, cultural heroine, noxious and reprehensible. Those are things. This is an evolution, and I know you've been asked about this before.
Jesus. Let me go through these links I had open. Hold on. Trump's VP pick is the most frothing at the mouth Ukraine hater in the Senate. Is that true? JD Vance, Ukraine. Also, wait, what was this Lex Friedman tweet? Archive.ph. No results. Fuck. Did somebody mislink or... Oh, I don't even know. JD Vance is a strong choice. Okay.
Good morning, Marcus.
Well, George, good morning. We are right along Jordan's border with Syria missiles members and the.
Where is where is this Stephanopoulos interview or Stephanopoulos? Where is this interview with JD Vance? Does anybody have it? I'm just curious what he said here. Hold on. Ah, fuck. Also, okay, wait, hold on. No, wait, hold on. Now we're not doing anything. Teach me the, how do I ban just for a single character using regex without catching a lot of other characters? Question mark. Destiny, the Thomas Crooks was a conservative. His friends from school are not saying this. Please spread the word. Okay. I don't know anything about him yet. Is that the shooter guy? Okay. I mean, I'll wait until good information comes out about it. I haven't looked at anything. Fuck it. He donated money to a left-wing cause, LOL. See ya, permaban, because you didn't give the dollar amount. See ya. Pretty sure it was like 15 bucks. That wasn't even the guy that donated with similar name? Oh, well, even better reason to keep you banned then.
You are bountiful. Your bones can support 2 times your weight. It's in your nature to stand strong.
No, it was that guy who donated. People are just confused. So. Well, in that case, listen, I have no opinion on it. And stop giving an opinion on it unless you've actually read into it. You've got more than just a fucking Twitter headline. Okay? Please shut the fuck up. Stop saying anything in chat if you haven't actually read into it. Don't give an advice. Don't give a thing. Don't say a thing if you haven't actually looked into it. Stop going by what you read on Twitter. Okay? Read an article or read more than like 7 words on it. All right? Okay? Stop. I don't care. I don't have any opinion on the shooter. I don't know fuck all about him. The only thing I'm pretty sure is true is that people are repeating what Jizgal said. Okay, I don't give a fuck. The only thing I'm pretty sure is true is that the guy was a registered Republican. That's it.
Political discourse to a very negative place. If Trump is elected president, he has to be a much different president than he was a candidate. As a candidate, he was fundamentally divisive, arrogant. I'm a never Trump guy. I never liked him.
That was JD Vance back in 2016. Now he's a Republican senator from Ohio supporting Donald Trump, and he joins us this morning. Senator, thank you for joining us this morning. Back in 2016, you also wrote that Trump is unfit for office. Why have you reversed yourself?
Well, I think in office, actually, George, he did a great job, and he proved me wrong. He also proved a lot of other people wrong, which is why I think he's doing so well in the polls these days. We have to remember, George, that Joe Biden promised to return to normalcy, and yet we have a world on fire. We have war in the Red Sea, war in Eastern Europe, war on the southern border, a terrible drug crisis, and of course, a lot of young Americans who can't afford to buy a home because interest rates are so high. So compare that to the track record of 4 years of Donald Trump, where we actually had a secure border, we had rising wages for the middle class, and we had the American dream that seemed more attainable and more achievable for more people. It's hard not to conclude that I was wrong and so many were wrong about Donald Trump back in 2015. He delivered, George. He did a good job, and I think it's why we ought to give him another run at it.
Of course, wages are rising now, and we just saw that economic report come in this week showing the economy continues to grow, new job
Relevant
growth
timestamp
as well.
at
But since then,
7:19.
Donald Trump not only lost the 2020 election and tried to overturn the results, he also faces...
Wait, hold on, real quick. Somebody said that somebody in chat linked something about there being an NVIDIA bug or something that is happening today, and that might be the reason why. Fuck, who had that post in chat? At this point, it seems like Destiny's on the list of influencers on the Democrats' payroll. I'm more open about the money I make than anybody that you talk to online. Your brain is delusional. I have more hours. You can go and read every single thing I fucking written or said about on this topic, okay? You're mentally unwell, okay? Please, remember, get a front row seat, my friend. Good luck.
Series of legal judgments and indictments. Most recently, this E. Jean Carroll case where juries have found him liable for sexual assault and defamation, leading to ads like this.
Supporting Donald Trump sends a message to every abuser, every rapist, and every man who's ever used his power to hurt a woman.
Okay, actually, hold on. I don't give a fuck about anything happening on stream until I figure this bug shit out. Because if this crashes later, I'm going to kill myself. NVIDIA users may need to update their GPU drivers. This is not, okay. Or maybe, okay.
I asked you what you would have
George,
done.
here's what I think. Yes, do I think it's a problem that Pennsylvania changed its balloting rules in the middle of the election season in a way that even some courts in Pennsylvania have said was illegal? Yes, I think these were problems, George, and I think there is a political solution to those problems. So litigating which slate of electors was legitimate, I think is fundamentally the political solution to assault victims. He funded this case to harm his political opponent, Donald Trump. It's pretty weird. It's a weird thing to do, to use the courts in this way. It's never happened before in American history. And yes, I think it should call into question the entire apparatus that's being used to go after Donald Trump.
So you're not troubled by the sexual assault and defamation. Let me ask you about January 6th. You've been mentioned as the possible vice president for Donald Trump. Had you been vice president on January 6th, would you have certified the election results?
Oh, George, this is such a ridiculous question, in part because the law has changed here. We, of course, had
well, I didn't ask you about going forward. I asked you what you would have done. I asked you what you would have
George,
done.
here's what I think. Here's what I think happened in 2020, and I know you guys are obsessed with talking about this. I have to make a point here. You constantly say to people like me, "Why do you talk about January the 6th? Why do you talk about the election of 2020?" And then you ask about us multiple times during a 6-minute interview. But look, you asked the question, and I'll answer it. Do I think there were problems in 2020? Yes, I do. Do I think it was a problem that big technology companies working with the intelligence services censored the presidential campaign of Donald Trump? Yes. Do I think it's a problem that Pennsylvania changed its balloting rules in the middle of the election season in a way that even some courts in Pennsylvania have said was illegal? Yes, I think these were problems, George, and I think there is a political solution to those problems. So litigating which slate of electors was legitimate, I think is fundamentally the political solution to the problems that existed in 2020. It's a reasonable debate to have, and I find it weird, George, that people like you obsess with what I call what happened in 2020. You're so incurious about what actually happened in 2020, which is why so many people mistrust our elections in this country. We've got to do better, George.
I'm not the least bit incurious. In fact, you laid out a litany there, but you didn't answer the question I asked. Would you have certified the election results had you been vice president?
I don't have a 13900 or a 14900K. I don't have either of those chips, so that doesn't apply to me either.
If I had been vice president, I would have told the states like Pennsylvania, Georgia, and so many others that we needed to have multiple slates of electors, and I think the U.S. Congress should have fought over it from there. That is the legitimate way to deal with an election that a lot of folks, including me, think had a lot of problems in 2020. I think that's what we should have done.
So it's very clear. You would have done what Donald Trump asked you to do there, not what Vice President Mike Pence did. You said that that's about the past, but of course it's Donald Trump.
What are you saying? People say Pennsylvania changed the rules during the election. I don't remember every single case, but damn, this is in 2023. Or actually, we could probably just look up the cases. Pennsylvania Donald Trump court case. Donald J. Trump for President, Inc. v. Kathy Bukvar and County Boards of Elections. This is the case? Okay, well, so let's check on the very beginning. I'm assuming this is the one. We have the first filed application for relief. Relief is something that a court can grant if you can show an injury to a particular action. Okay, so here's our application that we're filing for relief. Let me just make a quick note on this, I guess. Or would this be a subsection of this? Anytime I look in an article or research anything, I'm going to be writing it down. Did you actually what he said? He's literally admitting he would have thrown the false slates to the House to decide. I think I heard him say something like that, right? Yeah. He said it was the good way to the good political solution, yeah.
6th, why do you talk about the election of 2020? And then he asked about us multiple times during a 6-minute interview. But look, you asked the question, and I'll answer it. Do I think there were problems in 2020? Yes, I do. Do I think it was a problem that big technology, middle of the litter, George, that people like got to do better, George?
I'm not the least bit incurious. In fact, you laid out a litany there, but you didn't answer the question I asked. Would you have certified the election results had you been vice president?
If I had been vice president, I would have told the states like Pennsylvania, Georgia, and so many others that we needed to have multiple slates of electors, and I think the U.S. Congress should have fought over it from there. That is the legitimate way to deal with an election that a lot of folks, including me, think had a lot of problems in 2020. I think that's what we should have done.
So it's very clear. You would have done what Donald Trump asked you to do there, not what Vice President Mike Pence did. You said that that's about the past, but of course it's Donald Trump. Well, that's what you just said.
It's not about what Donald Trump asks somebody to do. It's about what do we do when you have a problem like what happened in 2020? How do you respond to it? How does the political system respond to this? You can't have a media apparatus that looks, for example, at the intelligence services working with technology companies to censor Americans and say, well, we just can't deal with this. There's no solution to this problem. And by the way, George, I don't want to talk about this stuff because I think what happened in 2020 is...
Yeah, okay. All right. 42 pages. I don't know if we'll read all of this. We'll just get through some of it. We'll see. Notice to plead. You're hereby notified to file a written response to the enclosed application for special relief in the form of a special preliminary and or permanent injunction within 20 days or within the time set by order of the court or service hereof, or a judgment may be entered against you. So I believe that an injunction is when you are looking for some form of relief because you're trying to say that some, is it irreversible injury? What's the word I'm looking for? An injury that couldn't be cured, uncurable injury. What's the word I'm looking for there? Irreparable harm, that's it. I believe an injunction is before a case is finished, or sometimes even in pretrial, I guess, or as part of your complaint, you can ask for an injunction, and I believe that the injunction order is before anything's been solved. It's like, please stop this right now. There's a high degree or high risk of irreparable harm, so stop while we do the court case to figure out what should happen, I believe. Let me check. We'll just read just in case. An injunction is a court order requiring a person to do or cease doing a specific action. There are three types of injunctions: permanent injunctions, temporary restraining orders, and preliminary injunctions. So I should be more clear. I think a preliminary injunction would be the pretrial request, not an injunction afterwards. Temporary restraining orders and preliminary injunctions are equitable in nature. They can be issued by the judge early in a lawsuit to stop the defendant from continuing their allegedly harmful actions. Choosing whether to grant temporary injunctive relief is up to the discretion of the court. Permanent injunctions are issued as a final judgment in a case where monetary damages will not suffice. Suffice. Failure to comply with an injunction may result in being held in contempt of court, which in turn may result in either criminal or civil liability. Okay, so we've had an application for a special preliminary and or permanent injunction within 20 days or within the time set by order of the court or service hereof, or a judgment may be entered against you. Dated November 4th, 2020. This is just the Pennsylvania case, just that guy brought up. So I just want to be clear that I know, and just in case it comes up ever again, okay? I feel like your career in the mainstream is basically dead after last night. Are you okay with that, or do you think I'm exaggerating? One, I think I would be okay with it, and two, you're also exaggerating. I totally don't care to burn the fuck out of a lot of prior conservative bridges that I built. I think most of those conversations were fucking worthless. I'm not proud of them. I don't think that they accomplished much, and fuck that. Other than getting my name out, making me slightly more popular. As for permanently burned bridges, people forget in a few years. It happens. People say that they don't, but they do. The internet does have a short-term memory, despite what we believed it would think 15 years ago. The internet apparently moves on quite quickly from things. Pursuant to Rule 1532 of the Pennsylvania Rules of Appellate Procedure, petitioners Donald J. Trump for President, Inc. and Republican National Committee, herein collectively referred to as petitioners, respectfully move for special relief in the form of a preliminary, special, and or permanent injunction enjoining respondents Kathy Bukvar as the Secretary of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and the 67 county boards of elections, herein referred collectively with Secretary Bukvar as respondents, from canvassing and counting absentee and mail-in ballots who failed to provide proof of identification that could be verified by the county boards of elections by the 6th calendar day following the November 3rd, 2020 general election as mandated by Section 1308H3 of the Pennsylvania Election Code. Okay, so when you enjoin respondents, that means that you're saying the same thing against both of them. When you enjoin, I think, hold on, you're levying the same claim or complaint or whatever, or lawsuit against both of them. Enjoin Cornell. Enjoin is the verb form of the term injunction, which means prohibit someone from doing something by issuing an injunction. Oh, is that just it? An enjoin? I thought there was an. Oh no. I think I'm thinking of I think the word is just consolidate. That's when the Supreme Court takes multiple court cases and then like responds to them at the same time, right? By enjoining. Okay. Enjoining is just issuing the injunction then. Sorry. I think I'm just thinking of consolidating. But that's for different cases. That doesn't apply here at all. Okay. Okay, so it looks like the application was filed, and the relief that they're seeking is they're saying that you need to stop counting mail-in ballots that can't be verified by the county boards of elections by the 6th calendar day following November 3rd. And then they're citing to a section in the Pennsylvania Election Code. They're citing for authority here for why this needs to be done. So it sounds like by November 9th or 10th or whatever, I imagine this is probably the language. I don't know why I can't copy anything in this PDF. Is that normal? But it sounds like them, they're citing to this section 1308H8, Pennsylvania. Wait. Pennsylvania Election Code. H3. Wait, what are they? As provided in 1308G. What is 1308G? Let's see. Pennsylvania Election Code. Let's see. Did I read this right? Hold on. Oh, no, wait. I didn't. I'm sorry. Oh, no, wait. I am. Okay. Following the general election is mandated by Section 1308H3 of the Pennsylvania Election Code, 25 PS, Section 3146.8. What are we? Pennsylvania State? 3146.8. 3146.8. Try this. Go to section 1308. This was passed in 2020. Oh, shit. Do you think they've changed? Maybe they've changed the law? So now it's not like you can't find this anymore? Oh, section 1308. Here it is. Oh, wait, I'm an idiot. It's right here. I'm sorry. Forget everything I just said. Jesus, it's right in front of me. Okay. Section 1308. Okay. Keep in mind they might have changed this, so I don't know if what we're reading. Act of March 27th, 2020. This suit was filed in November of 2020, so we should be reading the same thing. Okay. All right. Sorry, hold on. Where were we? And they're citing to subsection H3. Canvassing of official absentee ballots and mail-in ballots. Let's see. 1308. EFG H. G. Holy fucking AIDS. Oh, H. Here we go. Amended in 2019. Okay. H1 to... Oh, no. H is up here. H3. Holy AIDS. This is AIDS to read. I see. Okay. H. For those absentee ballots or mail-in ballots for which proof of identification has not been received or could not be verified, 1 was deleted by an amendment. Okay, so 1 is wiped. 2, if the proof of identification is received and verified prior to the 6th calendar day following the election, then the County Board of Elections shall canvass the absentee ballots and mail-in ballots under this subsection in accordance with subsection G2. When it says canvass the ballots, does that mean count them? Is that what that means here? If an elector fails to provide proof of identification that can be verified by the County Board of Elections by the 6th calendar day following the election, then the absentee ballot or mail-in ballot shall not be counted. Okay? Okay, if the proof of identification is received, okay. Subsection G2. And then one of these parts was amended, but, G. An absentee ballot cast by any absentee elector as defined in section 1301 I, J, K, L, M, or N, and an absentee ballot under 1302A3 or a mail-in ballot cast by a mail-in elector shall be canvassed in accordance with this subsection if the absentee ballot or mail-in ballot is received in the office of the County Board of Elections no later than 8 o'clock p.m. on the day of the primary or election. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so this is what they're referring to. On November 1st, 2020, Secretary Bukvar published and delivered to all 67 of the county election boards written guidance stating that an absentee or mail-in ballot of an elector whose proof of identification was not received or could not be verified at the time the ballot was delivered could be counted if the elector provides the requisite proof of identification to the county election boards by the 6th calendar day following the canvassing on or before Thursday, November 12th. See canvassing here, blah, blah, blah. Okay. The Secretary's November 1st, 2020 guidance is contrary to the clear and unambiguous language of Election Code, Section 1308H3, which mandates the last date for the elector's provision of identification as Monday, November 9th, which is the 6th calendar following the November 3rd, 2020 general election for those absentee ballots or mail-in ballots for which proof of identification has not been received or could not be verified if an elector failed to provide proof. Okay. As neither Secretary Bukvar nor the County Elections Board have any authority to rewrite the election code or administer the November 3rd, 2020 general election in a manner that is inconsistent and or directly contrary to the election code's clear and unambiguous mandates, petitioner seeks special, preliminary, and or permanent injunctive relief to enjoin respondents' attempted extension of the election section 1308 calendar day statutory period. Without an injunction, petitioners will be irreparably harmed and they have no adequate remedy at law. Accordingly, petitioners pray that this court enjoin the respondents from violating the election code. Okay. Then we've got background. Don't know if we need to read all or any of this. I wonder if they've given the complaint why he said he extended the day. Okay, that's their application. And then this is the court's response, I believe. Or is this the respondent's response? If it's consideration of petitioner's application, it must be the court's response, right? Upon consideration of petitioner's application for special relief in the form of a special, preliminary, and or permanent injunction under this, prohibiting respondents, their agents, servants, and officers, and others from permitting absentee mail-in votes an opportunity to provide missing proof of identification on or after November 9th in direct contravention of the Pennsylvania Election Code and prohibiting respondents from counting any absentee mail-in ballots of voters whose proof of identification was not received and verified by November 9th, 2020. It appearing to the court, the petitioners are likely to succeed on the merits of their actions, that they will suffer irreparable injury if the requested relief is not issued. The respondents will not be harmed if the request relief is issued, and that the public interest favors the entry of such an order. It is therefore ordered that petitioner's application is hereby granted, that respondents and anyone acting on their behalf are enjoined from permitting absentee and mail-in voters an opportunity to provide missing proof of identification on or after November 9th, and order that respondents and anyone acting on their behalf are enjoined from counting any absentee mail-in ballots cast by voters who proof of identification is not received. Okay, so it sounds like they were granted their preliminary their preliminary relief. This also might have been the case that they won, because I know that they won one case, and I think it was Pennsylvania. I think, but I'll keep reading. I don't know why. I don't know why he brought up this particular court case then, but we'll see. We haven't. Computer hasn't frozen yet. Oh shit! The courts fucked them up though. They hit him up with the sarcasm tag. Oh no. I certify that this filing complies with the provisions of the case. Okay, certificate of compliance, Exhibit A. Let's see. Notice. This is a notice to the county board and maybe the governor or some state. Oh no. Kathy Bukvar, who is the secretary of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and then Adams County, and then all these boards of elections. Okay, so these are the respondents. This is the notice that they've been sued, so they were served this paperwork. They had to take action within 20 days. Take this paper to your lawyer at once. Okay. Petition for review. Okay, now these are the respondents, I believe. Petitioners, Donald J. Trump for President, Republican National Committee, respectfully filed this petition. Wait, no. Is this the same thing we just read up here? Oh my god, I just pushed the end button. Fuck. Or was this another? Maybe this is another filed complaint or another petition that they filed? On Sunday, November 1st, 2 days before the date of the general election on November 3rd, and before pre-canvassing was scheduled to begin in each of the 67 counties at 7 a.m. All right. If this doesn't work, then I think I have to reformat my computer tonight. I have no idea. I downgraded OBS to the last version, uninstalled, reinstalled. We'll see. If this doesn't do it, then I guess I'm just going to be with my computer tonight. Why not stream from the studio? Oh, go downstairs? I don't have like a camera. Okay, space settings, speakers. Who can speak? Manage space. Okay, we've got co-hosts. We've got listeners. I don't know how to turn on comments. I started on my desktop though. Do you think it's gonna get how to turn on comments? Twitter space desktop. Boogie is calling you a liar. Listen, maybe I'll chop. Thanks for the $100, buddy. Maybe I will jump in and chat with him after if they're still talking. Invite speakers. Okay, real quick, can you hear me? Okay, hello.
Yeah,
hello?
I think it's still working.
Okay. What on the I don't see any part on any of these settings for like allowing comments. I don't see that anywhere.
No, that happens automatically, but I don't know why it's not happening for you. That's wild.
Huh. Well, you know,
It's
Elon
normally doesn't.
or somebody at X demonetized my account earlier, so maybe I lost some features. Who knows?
No, you don't lose a feature like that. That seems to. Okay, how about this? What if I were to host a space? Would you be fine with that?
If you'd like to, sure. If I'd like to be co-host because in a lot of these spaces people
Yeah,
will just
of course,
aggressively
100%.
mute somebody. Yeah, if you want to, go for it.
No,
Host it
no.
and then invite me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
How does this guy know so much about spaces? Because I'm pretty sure he debates on these spaces, or he spends a lot of time on them, I think. Spaces is like it's a whole like community that's opened up around it, like Discord. Is it Elon Musk? Why would it? If it was Elon Musk, why wouldn't he use like a voice changer? Why would he be like, oh, I'm just a guy who sounds like really similar to him? Hold on one sec. How much did Elon pay you to say that? Enough to fuck your mom. When he hosts this, am I supposed to like see an invite somewhere or start listening?
Oh, yeah, the comment section is there, and it is being completely bombarded now. Yes. From early comments, I was seeing like people asking me if I'm conservative. No, I'm not. I have no political affiliation whatsoever. I'm kind of like an observer in a sense. And ironically, for an observer, you kind of have this issue of the observer effect, wherein you wishing to make a certain observation, also seeking that observation, causes an interference. So that's what you're seeing here, because obviously if you wanted to just be an observer, it's probably not one of the best ways to do it, given that you actually have an impact. But that is besides the point.
Okay. I'm a listener. I don't know what to do. Am I supposed to ask to speak? Hold on. Oh, there it is. Oh my god, I have to reinstall NDI on this computer? Okay, well, you're not getting any monitor over here now.
Ah, there he is. Yeah.
Okay, hello, hello?
Hello, hello.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, as you can see, you see that little blue, purplish thing there at the bottom right. That's what people enthusiastically always call the purple pill. So whenever somebody comments or wants to comment on the space, then they basically click on that, they write something, and then it shows up as a comment section. In the future, this will be, revamped a little bit as well to have additional features, but not now.
Okay. I'm on the desktop version, so I don't think I see that particular thing, but I'll take your word for it.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no, I've heard this white, so
okay, so
keep speaking about other operating systems.
Okay, so real quick. So you mentioned being a neutral observer. Okay, here's a problem that I have with a lot of people that call themselves neutral observers. Feels like people that consider themselves neutral observers give so much credence and charitability to the right, and they give absolutely none of that to the left. And I think a good example is the conversation we just had about immigration. I don't think any mainstream Democrat, I don't think any lawmaker is saying, like, we need open borders. We like the border situation right now. If that was true, I don't think Congress would have had the support to pass legislation to dramatically curb a lot of the asylum seeking that was happening at the border.
That's not true. I've heard many people state that we need open borders so we can get more talent in, essentially, right? Because we need more workers. I think someone has actually used that as a legitimate talking point. I can't recall who exactly, but that had occurred.
Okay. So generally in conversation, well, hold on. So the old me, I would have said I don't like to push resources, but if you're going to make a statement that strong, I would have to know who's like a lawmaker or a Democrat leader that said we need open borders.
I'd have to find it. I just saw a clip of this guy. Really, nothing more than that. Again, I tend to be not focused on politics practically at all. My main focus is essentially just technology. But, given the opportunity, yeah.
Okay, I don't think any Democrat has called for open borders. If they did, can you explain why would they have the support in Congress to pass legislation to reduce immigration?
When was this exactly?
A few months ago, when the Lankford bill essentially was before Congress, and Donald Trump said, "Don't pass this." And then people like Ted Cruz went on TV and they're like, "Oh yeah, like it doesn't go far enough. We're not going to pass this." And Donald Trump said not to.
I wonder what else is contained within that, because oftentimes when laws are made, they're packaging something else within it. So perhaps there may have been some element to that was not satisfactory. I wouldn't know.
Well, let's say that was the case. Then why wouldn't they try to rework it and pass it slightly modified? Like, it's not like Republicans said that. Okay, well, they didn't. They just got shot down. Like I said, like in Congress, they were ready to pass this bill, and then Donald Trump came out and said, hey, we don't want this passed because we need to keep this open for the election because I'm the only one that can fix the border, basically.
And perhaps that is an argument. I wouldn't know.
You think a legitimate argument is the ex-president should be forcing the country into a worse position to give him a better negotiating position?
How would it be a worse position? I mean, how would you know it's a worse position? I wouldn't know what it is.
Well, I think right now we're in a worse position because the asylum seeking at the border is out of control.
It is, true. But why would it force you into a worse position if you wanted to deal with a certain problem?
We could have passed legislation to help cut that significantly, and Donald Trump stopped it to keep it open for the election.
Okay, perhaps that is an argument. Hang on, what is this? Dear God. Hang on, I'm trying to keep up with the comments as we're speaking as well. Yes, I do have a YouTube channel. Yeah, it's basically the same user name handle. Yeah, just like on X. Okay. Damn. Okay, so the question, okay, I kind of wanted to bring it back to the initial communication that we've had,
Yeah.
Where I just wanted to understand why exactly you're violent, right? Because, I mean, let's say, for instance, you wanted to make the way that we are communicating, for instance, I think that is very productive, right? I'm pretty sure that you could have a similar type of conversation with anyone else on X without actually raging out. Is it, and what you'd say is, oh yes, because everyone rages out at me. Could it perhaps be that if you never basically give them a chance to be nice, that they will always have a negative opinion towards you and thereby always be somewhat negative in this sense?
So I would fight back against that. And I think that something that is poisoning our political discourse right now is the idea that as long as people aren't calling each other names, it's a productive conversation. I think that people in the center and conservatives have deluded themselves into thinking that anything that remains below a certain decibel level is somehow productive. But it's not. I think that the ideas and opinions that you just recently had about the border stuff were absolutely and completely and totally incorrect. The U.S. Border Patrol Union hates Biden. They endorsed that immigration plan that Donald Trump shot down. Donald Trump made our country measurably worse. All of us are worse off for it. The people that end up illegally immigrating, the people at the border that are trying to protect our state, U.S. citizens that are deprived of social spending and welfare, and the general security of the country has all decreased, all because Donald Trump shot down legislation that would have improved the security at our border. But a lot of people in the middle, I guess like you as a neutral observer, look at the left and blame them for immigration, even though in this particular circumstance for the past several months, it is wholeheartedly, squarely, and solely to put at the feet of Donald Trump. So having that little conversation that we did before I just did that, and saying that, well, that was a productive conversation. No, it wasn't. You didn't change your mind at all. You're not going to change your mind based on anything I say, and nobody listening is going to change their mind.
I don't make any condemnation of anything. No, I don't make any condemnation of anything. I'm just basically trying to get a kind of result out of you. I'm just basically prompting you. That's what I'm doing.
That's
because
fine.
I always hear the same types of arguments. I just want to hear something different. That is the entire purpose of this conversation.
Okay, what do you want to hear?
Can you give me a second?
Sure thing. Go for it. Oh, 15 minutes. I can feel the crash coming on. It's coming.
Okay, Mark, can you still hear me? Sorry, I had a call come in.
Hi. Yeah. What's up?
Okay, yeah. Again, I kind of want to go away from the politics end of things because that's not what I wanted to discuss.
Okay.
Look, we can have a conversation at length about politics, but again, I like to stay out of that. Remember, my primary focus was that of technology. And speaking of technology, now, of course, you say that you want to keep... What is your goal, actually? Do you want to keep the temperature, and I believe that with temperature we mean the emotion of political discourse at a low. Is that correct? Like you kind of want to keep the temperature low?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Okay, but don't you think that being very angry on X.com, basically calling people all kinds of names, kind of goes against that?
I don't think it makes much of a difference.
You are a very big person in a space. You are causing a lot of impact with everything that you do. It definitely does make a difference. I mean, basically, I cannot name one big account that doesn't know of your existence thanks to these very controversial, thanks to this very controversial style of speaking, right? So you definitely have an impact. You definitely are making a difference.
Have you ever been in a canoe before, or any kind of boat that you have to row?
I cannot hear you for some reason.
Have you ever been in any kind of a boat that you have to row, like a canoe?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that when we talk about maintaining our political system, or when we talk about maintaining a certain political temperature, I think that it's like going forward in a boat, that you have to row from both sides. If only one side rows, it doesn't matter how gently they do it, it doesn't matter how aggressively they do it, you are always going to veer off course. When you look at the political temperature that exists in a country, it's a function of how everybody is coming together and doing discourse. And I would argue that conservatives, especially through supporting people like Donald Trump, especially because they're supporting him for his rhetoric, which is absolutely fiery and is absolutely known for being as divisive as possible, it's what he does, I think that Republicans have made it impossible have the temperature be low on any political conversation that happens in the United States. And when one side's not rowing, looking at the person on the other side and going, why don't you row more gently, doesn't get you any closer to moving in a straight line.
Well, that's a very strange argument to make. Hang on a second. Hold up. Give me a sec. Sorry, I'm having a few technical difficulties. Can you repeat the last thing that you said?
Yeah,
sorry.
I think that when one side has driven up the climate of this country so high, it doesn't really matter what the other side does, your temperature is stuck there. The other side has dictated the minimum level of political discourse, and that minimum level is going to be supporting a guy who tried to insurrect the government and who's known for giving funny nicknames to his political opponents to demean and disgrace them.
Yeah, but everyone is doing this. By your argument, then everyone is also doing this, because it doesn't matter what side you're on, that is happening by default. Basically, I don't know what you're trying to do here, nail down which side is most responsible for this.
Just to be clear, do you think that Biden's rhetoric is as inflammatory as Donald Trump's rhetoric?
Inflammatory, I'd say no. And there isn't really, like, if you want to define rhetoric, that's a bit of a slippery slope to go down. You know, has he said certain things that I think could be problematic? Yes. Perhaps there have been certain mistakes while he was speaking that could be problematic. Yes. Is Donald Trump doing name calling? Yes. Is that okay? No. But I think both sides have issues. That's my point. Now you can argue which one is worse than the other.
Okay, you said that your background is in tech, right?
Somewhat technological, yes. I tend to focus on tech. My background is, like, you can define that as whatever.
Okay, let's say theoretically you were trying to run a major social media platform, okay? And you had two huge problems. One is you've got a lot of engineers that are arguing in favor of refactoring huge parts of the code base because they think that it's too old or it's accumulated too much tech debt or whatever. Okay, that's one side, all right? And there's a huge argument over what should it look like going forward from a software development side. And then on the other side, you're trying to run the entire company off of a Raspberry Pi. If somebody were to look at these issues and say, okay, well, we've got a big problem here, would you turn to that person and go, yeah, but I mean, like, both problems are, you know, really huge. Both problems are contributing to this company not working?
At this point, you're trying to ask me whether or not you're trying to identify which problem here is really the Achilles heel. So what's the Achilles heel? I don't understand.
I'm trying to...
Because if you're describing this thing to me, it doesn't make any sense.
Sorry. I have a habit, because I'm used to back and forth conversations on Discord. So if I'm starting to talk, I'm not trying to cut you off. So sorry if that's happening.
No. All good.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is that if you look at Biden and you look at Trump and you go, well, both sides have problems with their rhetoric. While it might be true, I'm sure with any politician, that we could pick out things where it's like, well, should you say that? Maybe we should say something, you know, different. Or maybe this might be problematic. I don't think that it's on the same scale. I think that Donald Trump has made a name for himself with his divisive and fiery rhetoric. I don't think it has ever been said ever in the history of U.S. politics that Joe Biden's rhetoric is too fiery and inflammatory. I think that Donald Trump is known for this, and moving away from just his speech patterns and the way that he conducts himself, we can look at like his results in Congress, and we can see that Biden has brought together people in a historic manner in a historically divided Congress for bipartisan legislation. Donald Trump was unable to do that.
Perhaps. Okay, so now we're talking about